afternoon, everyone. How we doing? Welcome back to another weekly watch list. So we're going to be covering SPY, QQQ, ES, and NQ, and SPX. Let's hop right into it. All right. First things first, though. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Thank you so much for watching. Seriously appreciate anyone who gives me their time and wants to do this watch list with me. Maybe it helps you a little bit. I really do appreciate every single view. I think I hit like 30 subscribers or something like that, maybe 29, which is crazy. I don't care about the subscriber count, but I care about every subscriber. That's for sure. Seriously, thank you so much for following along the journey. We're in this together. Clearly you have a passion for trading and investing as much as I do. And, if you have things to share and have a good channel, I'll be happy to subscribe back and check out your content. Just leave a comment below. I watch, investing, trading videos every single day. It's a rule of mine. And, I would love to check out your content. So thank you so much. So let's get into the watch list. I did not place a single trade last week. That is 20 hours of screen time, right? 4 to 5 hours in the morning, another 45 minutes to an hour in the afternoon. So anywhere between 4.5, 6 hours of screen time a day, 20 hours for the week roughly, and not a single trade. There wasn't a single thing set up, anything that really deserved my mental capital. This week was, let's go back to just Monday. We had that giant move up off the news, the China tariff, and you can kind of see intraday, just like there was a lot of moves after market and so on, but every day was very choppy, not the best action, just nothing that I felt like fully deserved my full capital. OPEX Friday, definitely didn't take any trades Friday. It actually was a decent looking afternoon, but by the time I finished, I don't trade past 12 o'clock, just part of my rules. And, before that, there was nothing. Tuesday was CPI. It was just Monday again with the giant move up. It was pretty much impossible to trade Monday. So not a single trade, which is just insane. This stage of my journey, I'm refining. I'm truly identifying what's my edge, in the market. What type of market structure really aligns with my trading strategy, my system, and I'm just being consistent, being focused, and becoming the most disciplined version of myself within trading. And it's, I'm really, really happy to see what it yields me in the future. So let's get into the watch list. So we have the previous day high and the previous day low. We just barely almost rejected the supply zone. We had that debt news Friday at the end of the day, and it's already pushing us below the previous day low. So I'll be watching the previous day low to flip to resistance if we get a retest here. Next support zone below is 585, 582. And then 577. Really, this daily gap down here at 567. If we get a nice pullback, this is going to be the area I look for the bears to attack and fill. So that's going to be my main watch for the week. I would potentially look at adding, some swing calls here if we get good confirmation at this daily gap. So that's what I'll be watching as far as the S&P. If we don't continue down at all, I'll be watching the supply zone here. From 598 down to 595. This previous day high here at 597, not the exact previous day, it's from a few months ago. But above that, we're damn near back at all-time highs. So we go over to the 1 hour above that supply. I just have a couple more supply zones back up to the all-time high. Let's go over to ES. I'm excited to see where the futures open up tonight, see what kind of follow through we get from that news. But as you can see, pretty much just barely rejected that supply zone. My first support area is going to be down here 59.26. It was a 1 hour demand that we had already bounced out of. I think that when futures open up, we'll probably gap down below this. So it'll kind of, we'll be below this anyway. So I'd look to see this flip to resistance. Same thing down here. We had this support and resistance flip on the higher time frame. So I kept it on the chart. It's not like any demands or anything like that, but it's been a nice level across ES. So it's on the chart for now. If we get below that, my next area is going to be this 15-minute demand zone down here at 57.65, but really daily gap as well. If we get a strong move by the bears, I'm going to look for price to come down and fill this gap at 57.15. All right, let's go over to SPX and then we'll wrap up with QQQ. So SPX, very simple. I say this in every single watch list. I just mark previous day high and previous day low. It's really that simple. And gaps. That's it. So we have our previous day high here, which was resistance turned to support just above 5,900. Again, SPX is going to open up down here under 5,900. So I'd like to see 5,900 and the previous day low act as resistance for a move back down to 58.64 and 58.44. I cannot stress this enough. Marking the previous day high levels and previous day low and any gaps on SPX is all you need, and it gives you so much confidence for your trades in SPY and QQQ. So again, same thing with the gap. I mean, it's pretty obvious. SPX loves to fill its gaps as well, but we have this daily gap down here at, let's see, right above 5,700, so 56.91. This is going to be the area that I'm looking for to fill. I do have a mistake here. This is not the daily gap level that I want. This is. So we're going to change this, get rid of it. This is actually going to be our daily gap here, right? So that's where I'll be watching if we get a really good aggressive push down. If we don't and we just keep ripping higher, then it's a no-brainer for price to get to 6,000. That's going to be the next target for the bulls. So let's go over to QQQ. Going to be similar look. Obviously, we're already below the previous day low. We're already below my first support zone at 514. So you have this 30-minute demand zone that I will have on watch up first, as we can see right here from Tuesday. This is going to be my first area for a bounce or relief of some sort. If we keep going down in the futures or the pre-market, next is going to be the daily gap, right? So again, why do I have this daily gap low and daily gap here? What that means is when price, the way I've seen price react to gaps is, here's our daily gap low, right? So underneath this candle here from the 12th, the next likely area for price to go is going to be to fill the gap here at 491. I know I have a demand zone in here. I have another level here that was a previous day high. The thing is, the way that price likes to move underneath these gaps is to fill the other gap. So that's what I'm going to be watching for, is if we get under that gap low, I know I have this support zone down here, this 30-minute demand. But if we get under this 501 and 500 respectively, this psychological number, I'm going to look for price to come down and fill 491. To the upside, over the previous day high, we have this 2-hour supply zone up here and this potential pivot here at 525. And then lastly, let's wrap up with NQ. Looking at NQ, we're kind of in between these two levels here. This is kind of like a previous day high. And then we've had this 1-hour pivot here. Under the 1-hour pivot is probably where we're going to open up when the futures open up. My next area level is just this very easy to see level here. I'm on the 5-minute chart. Let me get to the 1-hour here. Oh, this is a 45-minute. I don't have any other major like supply zones except for up here, 4-hour up at 2180, 21800. But below this pivot here on the 1-hour at 2185, I have my next demand zone down here at 21,000, this 30-minute demand zone, but we can go ahead and drag that over now. But again, we'll see what happens in the futures tonight. And then underneath that, same type of thing. If we get underneath this, it's going to be very likely for price to fill that gap here, okay? So underneath that, I do have another, again, a 30-minute demand zone here. But if we keep moving down, it's going to be very likely for price to fill the daily gap, right? So if we take a look here, we have this gap here, which are not a ton of space. So if we get underneath here, if we get underneath this candle here, it's going to be very likely for price to come down and bounce here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't predict the markets. I react. All right. So that's going to be everything I'm watching this week. Again, no longer put IWM on the watch list. I do not trade it. I update the levels daily, but I don't trade it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day inside and outside of the market this week as well. And I will see you all in the next watch list, which will not be next week. I will be away for Memorial Day weekend. First time ever doing anything for Memorial Day weekend. And I figured it'd be time to just use the time to get away and do something relaxing. But the following week after that, we'll be back with the weekly watch list. So thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate every single one of you. And I'll see you in the next video.